White and proud, black and proud, gay and proud. Have you ever wondered why people call themselves proud? We live in a world so sick in a way that, it's amusing people don't seem to really know what they want, what they desire, and well, they kind of don't know who and what they are, right? We live in a world so dominated still, especially in the Western side, by religion, right? And this fear of the so-called, eternal judgment or whatever people call it, right? But still, people call themselves proud, right? It doesn't matter what they put before, if it's white, if it's black, and if it's LGBT or whatever, right? They just call themselves that plus proud, right? But at the same time, you're afraid of, the eternal judgment. And, well, funnily speaking, wasn't pride one of the major sins, right? So if you're proud, shouldn't that be considered as a sin, right? And also, wasn't homosexuality considered a sin by religion? Now, I'm not sure whether it would be good for religion to be the one to blame homosexuality, or should it be, the point of a healthy society? And, well, let's think about morals, right? Because ultimately we have been born in a certain way. Of course, there are, naturally speaking, some individuals who are homosexual. Yes, there are in all species on this universe, right? But of course, the special snowflakes will feel very bad if you tell them the truth, because ultimately, in all races, there will be, especially, well, let's say in the social races of animals on this planet, there will be individuals who are naturally born so, right? Homosexual. But the point is, they are somewhat sent away, right? They are somewhat not allowed in societies. They're not killed necessarily, but the point is, this will piss people off. Why? Well, because humans have this passion to simply raise everything to a certain level of art, not necessarily in the good way, but when people aren't represented by anyone, and they feel that their life sucks and they have to prove everyone that they are worth something, they will always embrace something and they will become proud of it, right? Especially if they are unconscious, because if you are something, why do you need to show pride about it? Pride only shows that you're a slave of something, right? Because pride is just a sense of separation, right? You're sensing, you're feeling, okay, that you're superior to others. Because you have identified yourself so much with something, you're technically the slave of that concept. If you believe that you are something, you're technically not. We came as nothing in this world, and nothing we shall leave, right? As nothing we shall leave. We didn't come with any attachment, any idea, any point, any suffering, right? All of that is more or less an accumulation, right? You didn't have any emotional attachment towards any idea. You didn't have any knowledge, actually. Of course, the only thing each and every one of us had was obviously our karma, right? Now, we may not have control over what our karma is in this waking life, and the point is, okay, we shouldn't worry that much about it, because how we can feel it is basically, well, based on whatever we experience, whatever we tend to go towards, but what we tend to go naturally towards. Some people feel like singing, is what makes their heart beat. Some people like drawing. Whatever one feels in a certain way, right? That's what basically drives them. That's what they are most adept, let's say, in this life to do. But this life is, well, ruined by our sense of society, right? People want security, not because they feel insecure, right? We are kind of the most secure generation, right? Set of generations, because ever since we have built society, we have always preserved ourselves away from nature. To a certain extent, it's been a good thing because we have been safe from predators, but we have allowed ourselves to stay too close to the single most dangerous predator of all, which is us humans, right? Well, technically not us humans, that is, well, ignorance. So the point about life is we live in a society in which all you have to do is nothing, right? You have to be a nothing, right? Which technically should be the greatest joy because, well, when you are nothing, you're not identified with anything. So that is how you cannot be controlled, right? When you realize that you're nothing in this world and everything is just identification with concepts, then you become a tool of suffering. Because when you identify yourself with a certain concept and you become, proud of that, you become simply an engine of separation. Because everyone else who thinks differently, well, you will want to police those people into, well, thinking like you, which would be kind of narcissistic because only narcissists seek to change people and adjust them to their own. Don't we live actually in a narcissistic society? Because, well, everyone wants you to be like them. This is one of the reasons why we live in a sick society, right? So ultimately, if pride is just another tool of separation and it is nothing else than a sin in so-called religions, why are people still embracing this idea, right? Because we live in such an idea, right? We live in such a sick society. Ultimately, all that matters is that pride is nothing else than a sense of separation. It is just a feeling, it is just a thought. And as every other belief, it means accepting something without a necessity for proof. There is no proof that you are superior to others. But just because you have identified yourself with something, that is definitely something you feel proud of. Why? Because you've had parents that weren't capable of giving you the love that you needed and the nurturing that you needed mentally, emotionally, psychologically, right? These are things that one has to address. These are things that one has to heal in time. Because, well, if you want pride to be your flag bearer, well, the problem is it will actually be suffering instead. Because sins were not meant to be a tool of punishment for an other world that doesn't exist. These idea of sins, the original purpose of those was to be presented as morals, right? To be presented as how not to be. Not that if you are proud, you will actually be punished by a god, right? That was initially intended so because, in order to rule a, bunch of ignorant people, right, for their betterment, you needed to create a sense of fear, right? Because first of all, you always need a bit of fear to rule, unconscious masses out of ignorance. But, when you see that, fear works so well in controlling them, you may be easily corrupted by power and turn this into a religious cult, right? But all this being said, I want to preserve this video as a very short one. You are appreciated. Hopefully you've understood what pride is in a, superficial level. You are appreciated. Take care. Ferencan Bor signing out.